All right, today we're tackling a question that is so personal, but also, super public. Is marriage something we choose for ourselves, or is it more of a duty, something we do for our families? Let's dive right in. For generations and really in cultures all across the globe, the answer to that question was pretty much a given. It was just yes. But things are changing. More and more of us are starting to wonder, hey, are there other ways to build a truly happy life? And that thought, it can feel so freeing, but let's be real, it could also be kind of terrifying, right? And this is where things get tricky. This is the central conflict right here. On one side, you've got the traditional view of marriage as like the cornerstone of a good life. It's all about companionship, carrying on the family legacy, sharing your dreams with someone. But then, on the other side, you have this deeply personal choice, a path that's more about freedom, focusing on your career, and really discovering who you are. And a lot of the time, these two ideas are pulling in completely opposite directions. Okay, so first up, let's really get into why marriage is still such a powerful, cherished goal for so many people. Look at this. It really captures that deep human need for connection we all have, doesn't it? Having a partner isn't just about having a roommate. It's about having someone to share your deepest secrets with, someone to lean on when life gets messy. And then you add in the incredible joy of raising a family, the whole glamour and happiness of a wedding day. For a lot of people, this is it. This is the ultimate picture of a happy life. But of course, that's not the only story out there, not by a long shot. So let's flip the coin and look at the other side, choosing a totally different path. This quote right here, wow, it just gets right to the heart of the matter. For some people, their life's purpose, their real mission, just doesn't fit into the box of a traditional marriage. For them, getting married doesn't feel like the next logical step. It actually feels like a detour, like straying from the path they're meant to be on. And look, the reasons for feeling this way are 100% valid. Maybe you have this huge life mission or a career that needs all of your focus. Or, hey, maybe you just really value your personal space and privacy. For some people, all the adjustments and compromises that come with marriage, well, it starts to feel less like a partnership and more like you're losing a piece of yourself. They find real, genuine happiness in just being alone. Okay, so here's where it all comes to a head. What happens when this very personal, very valid choice to stay single crashes right into that powerful wall of family and societal expectations? This is exactly where the conflict ignites. You could have a totally clear, well-thought-out reason for not wanting to get married, but to your family, it can feel like a rejection, or a failure, or gosh, even like you're being selfish. That personal desire for your own path, it just slams into this solid wall of tradition. And this pressure, it almost never starts out at full blast, right? It's subtle at first. You get those little gentle reminders, those jokes about when are you going to settle down. Then it starts to ramp up. You get the emotional appeals, we just want you to be happy, or the classic, we want grandchildren. Before you know it, it's about serious stuff like the family legacy, the family name, even property. And all of that can build and build until it feels like you're being forced into a decision. And let's be clear, this kind of pressure isn't just uncomfortable. It can be incredibly, deeply damaging. So let's talk about the real price, the hidden costs of all this. Now, it's so important to get this right. When we say forced marriage, we're not always talking about physical force. A forced marriage can absolutely happen when the emotional and psychological pressure is just so intense, so overwhelming, that you feel like you have no other choice. You say yes just to make everyone else happy, even if it means sacrificing your own. And the fallout from this? It's just devastating. A marriage that starts with pressure instead of love, it almost always ends up as this loveless, resentful trap. And here's the thing, it doesn't just ruin one life, it ruins two. The life of the person who was pushed into it, and the life of their partner who has no idea they're walking into a lie. The emotional toll is massive. We're talking divorce, severe depression, mental illness, and in the most tragic, heartbreaking cases, even suicide. Okay, so that's all pretty heavy. But faced with all that, how can someone who is absolutely sure they don't want to marry actually build a happy, respected life on their own terms? Let's talk about the path forward. The key phrase to hang on to here is 100% certain. If you are truly, absolutely sure this is your path, then this isn't about being defiant. It's about being a builder. It's about actively constructing a future that is secure, that is joyful, and that is completely 100% yours. And here is the practical toolkit to make that happen. First step, financial independence. That's not negotiable. It's the bedrock of your freedom. Next, you have to save diligently for your future so you're not dependent on anyone later in life. This next one is huge. Build your own chosen family, a powerful support system of friends who really get you. And finally, you have to stay true to yourself and stick with your decision. Okay, but let's talk about the elephant in the room. The big question that often causes the most doubt. What about kids? If you choose not to get married, does that mean you have to give up on being a parent? The answer is absolutely not. And this quote says it so beautifully. The path to parenthood is not a single narrow road. Adoption is such a powerful, fulfilling way to create a family. It brings so much happiness to both the parent and a child who desperately needs a loving home. It's a perfect reminder that family is built on love, not just biology. So when you boil it all down, this whole really complex issue comes down to a simple but profound truth. There is no single right answer. There's no one-size-fits-all blueprint for a happy life. The real goal is to find the courage and the clarity to build the life that's right for you. So we're going to leave you with this final thought. Just for a second, forget about all the expectations. Forget tradition, and just ask yourself this. What does your happy future actually look like? Because in the end, the answer to that question is the only one that really matters.